Hello everybody, Brad Johnson here. And in this video, we're going to be talking about a very important topic, which is spiritual liberation or spiritual debt, and being aware of your decisions. This is something that has also impacted me a great deal, especially over the years. Looking into the idea of really summarizing the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And of course, a lot of us get that particular level of frustration. We especially get frustrated when we see other people going an opposite direction of where we potentially see them. Whenever we see a person who has so much promise, who has so much inspiration, who has just this really good charm and great direction to themselves, yet they don't see it. And we can basically get irritated by that and saying, you have all of this potential, you have all of this skill, you have all of this talent, you have this natural charisma, you have this natural presence, but you're not using it. Oh, how frustrating it is that you can't see this. Why can't you see it? And this is just one out of many examples, is we just get frustrated by people, places, events, and things throughout the world. And we want to feel like we need to control and to change everything. And at times we will lose our temper. At times we will become distraught, frustrated, angry, upset, sad, based on the external world. From the type of people, places, events, and things that we come across day to day. But it's also important to realize that as we do this, because I'm also speaking through myself, so this has happened to me as well. When we come across these things and we basically bellyache, or we get frustrated, or we get upset, we get angry, right? We don't see the type of chords that we are shooting out through ourselves, and we don't see the confinements. We don't see the conditions and the limitations. We don't see the rebound of what we are doing pertaining to our actions. And this is a very important understanding that needs to be grasped, because there are times too, even when I've done live webcasts, right, and I see people saying some things that aren't too flattering, and then I start reacting to that. And as soon as I start reacting in that way, then I'm not seeing what chords I'm putting out as well too. So I'm just as much at fault here as any other. And we have to realize that whatever we're doing, if we're reacting in a certain way, if we're telling a person to go take a hike, if we're telling a person to beat it, telling a person to get lost, we're getting frustrated and we basically want to try and defend our own ego, then that's going to come back to us in some way. It's always going to be a feedback. There's always a feedback loop. There's always a boomerang, right? There's always a ricochet. There's always a rebound. And in order for us to truly liberate ourselves, we need to constantly remind ourselves of, again, that golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Or if I would add a little bit more to it, do and say unto others as you would have them do and say unto you. Because again, we'll go into verbal actions a lot of the time as well. So the whole idea of spiritual liberation is being able to witness yourself. And it really just comes down to the key of seeing everybody else as yourself, seeing everyone as you, seeing everything as you. And if you don't see that, if you only just see yourself, if you only just see this body, if you only see this personality consciousness, you're going to rack up debt. And this is the spiritual debt. And if we do not see that, then we're going to be haunted by these particular situations that are just going to be feedback looping on us again and again and again, lifetime after lifetime, because we still don't see everyone as us. We still don't see life as us. We don't see the world as ourselves. And as long as we do not see that, the debt is going to continue to rise. You're going to have a very high debt ceiling. Because I'm mad about this person who did this. I'm upset about that person who did that. I'm upset about this whole situation. I'm upset about this event. I'm upset about this thing. I don't want to go to that place because it has this thing on it, etc. We constantly go into attachments, aversions. We keep getting into this state of ridicule, state of confinement, and state of conditioning. And that is what's going to continue to rack up your debt. That's what's going to cause you to feel like you're constantly getting this feedback loop of onslaughts back from nature, because nature never forgets your debts. Nature never forgets what you do. You feel that you lash out at somebody, and you think it's okay, it'll be fine. And then a short time later, someone lashes out at you, and it's a harsh lashing out. So what did I do to get that? It's like, oh, well, a few days ago, I was really mad at my neighbor, and I was lashing out at them because their dog came in my yard and relieved himself, right? And I just threw a fit. And a few days later, here I am walking down the street, and this person just throws a fit at me, right? These are just examples of how the feedback loop continues, right? If we're not responsible with our money, if we go and splurge it in that sense, and we're missing other opportunities for money to come in. The situations are endless. But the key here is really just to look into non-reacting. The key is just to respond and not to react to everything. And like I said, I had to go through this last night because I was reacting to something. And I went into meditation. I had a great clarity, a great download in saying, what am I doing? Why am I reacting to people this way? Why am I reacting to a situation this way? I see how this is only going to rack up more and more debt for myself. It's not going to liberate me if I continue to play together with reacting to a person and getting upset with them and warning them and warning not to trespass across a boundary. All I'm doing is I'm setting that up for that to come back to me, because I'm not seeing this person as myself. I'm not seeing this situation as myself, and it's only going to rack up more and more debt. And the more that I'm going to have that debt, the more I feel I'm going to be in chaos. I'm going to be in a lot of suffering. I'm going to be in a lot of hurt. I'm going to be confused, and I'm not going to get anywhere. I'm going to stagnate myself from where I feel I want to develop myself. I want to go into expansive states. But if I keep throwing these curveballs at people, places, events, and things, I'm going to just be standing still, and I won't be expanding. I'll be confined into my own prison. So this is something that we have to remember. And like I said, it really just comes down to the golden rule, is to do unto others as you would have them do unto you, is to learn to be non-reacting, is learn to just be the witness, to be the observer, to working together in responding to situations rather than reacting to them. It doesn't matter if you say yes or no to a situation that unfolds. It doesn't matter if you say yes or no to a person who is giving you an offer that maybe you do favor or you don't favor. It's not about the yes or no. It's about how you react. It's the reaction that matters. Nature doesn't really care what you say yes or no to. Okay? What it does, it's kind of like looking at a graph, right? It's like we see a Richter scale going off here because we react to the situation. What did you say to me? How dare you say that to me? Okay? I am never going to do that. You should be ashamed of yourself for saying such a thing about that to me. And we go into this Richter scale. We go into this heavy graph where it is the reactions of intensity. The intensities of a situation that we get emotionally pulled into is the debt that we rack up. And that's basically it. It's the earthquakes, it's the tremors of our emotional and mental states. And sometimes they'll just go right off the scale. Whereas we look at a situation and say, yeah, sure, I'll do that. No, I don't think this is for me. No, thanks. It's okay. It's level. It's subtle. It's not causing any tremors. There's no graph here that's going to lead into repercussion, that's going to lead into feedback on a harsh level. I appreciate the offer, but I'm not really going to take it. It's just not for me right now, but thank you for offering. Good. nice and streamlined. Yeah, I think I'll go for that. I think I'll enjoy this with you. Great. Nice and streamlined. So you see how the yes and the no are both streamlined. But when we react to, how dare you think that I'm going to go into this? How dare you think that this is what I'm all about? How could you? That's what nature remembers. Nature remembers your tremors. Nature remembers your emotions, your mental states. When it comes to a situation, it doesn't care what you say yes or no to. It doesn't care if you decide to be in favor of this or not in favor with this. Again, if that's all applied in subtlety, then that's great. You're not going to have that tremor return, right? It's all going to come back when we are blowing up, when we are reacting, when we're blowing our top, so to speak. How dare they say this? How dare they think that? How dare they feel like that's what I'm all about? And this is the spiritual debt. The spiritual debt is the intensity of your reactions on a physical, mental, emotional level, right? Wanting to shove somebody, well, there's a physical reaction there that again is stemmed from your mental, emotional states, right? How dare you, I'm mad at you, I'm furious at you because you said this to me. That's what we need to be aware of, because again, we don't see the other as ourselves. We don't see anything within the world as ourselves, and that's why I react in that way. Me and my body, me and my personality, and that's it. And I get into these tremors, and I just blow my top, I get outraged, I commit to this horrendous action, and then I don't see myself. I don't see myself in the others. I don't see myself through the world. And now, a short time later, this bounces back to me. This blows back in my face because I could not see the other as myself. This is what we really want to grasp. This is what we really want to look into. And like I said, I'm just as guilty of doing this as any other, because there's times where I've blown up. There's times where I've been conditioned. There's times where I've been at fault. And I've seen this, and I just react, and here's the Richter scale going off, and I've had to get blowback from it, feedback. The feedback loop hit me as well too. So the key here is to just train yourself. It's a sadhana. It's a daily practice of cultivating your happiness. Okay? That's the antidote. That's how you move into spiritual liberation. Happiness should never be drawn towards something external. It should never be a person, place, event, or thing. The happiness is who and what you are. Think back to a moment where you just felt happy. It doesn't even matter what it was. It doesn't matter what the situation was. It doesn't matter if it was a person, an event, or a thing. Just think back into the moment where you felt so incredibly happy, so incredibly joyful, right? And just feel it within you. Now you want to take that and you want to blow it up. You want to expand it. You want to expand it as big as you can. And then absorb it into yourself. Absorb it into the heart. Absorb it into the solar plexus. And increase your vital magnetism. And that is you each and every single day performing a simple sadhana, simple daily practice that is you cultivating your happiness. And peace just reigns over you. Now, even with outrageous situations, you're not bothered by it. You're non-reacting. You're simply responsive, but you're non-reacting. Everything about you becomes subtle. And through that subtle frequency comes the nature of rich reward. The richness of life comes through the subtlety of things. It doesn't come through the intensity. It doesn't come through emotional blow up. It doesn't come from mental outrage. Okay? It doesn't come from the Richter scale intensities of the wave. It comes through the subtleties. A wave that is so incredibly subtle, so incredibly quiet and peaceful that it brings about the most richest rewards to you. And again, it just comes back to the golden rule: do and say unto others as you would have them do and say unto you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll speak to you again in another perspective of the now. Take care. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, and may it be well with you. Thank you so much for tuning in to New Earth Teachings on YouTube. Don't forget to check out our websites, newearthteachings.com, where you can do private sessions with me, and also etherics.co. And through Etherics, you'll be able to pick up your Healing Code Cards body deck, your mind deck, and your energy deck through Etherics. You will also be able to pick up the Etherbed kit. That is also on Etherex as well. Not to mention that you'll also be able to pick up some apparel and accessories that is also available on Etherex. Thank you so much for tuning into this video, and I look forward to speaking to you in the next one. Om Shanti 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 Namaskar, and may it be well with you.